In the summer of 1984, four boys from the quiet town of Warren Falls set out on what they thought would be just another adventure, an escape from boredom, a test of courage, maybe even a chance to find something great. But what they found deep in the forgotten caves outside of town was far more than old bones or hidden treasure. It was the kind of darkness that truly never leaves you. The summer of '84 was the last one that truly mattered in Warren Falls, New Hampshire, a quiet town without even a traffic light until '89. It was home to four 12-year-old boys: Ryan, Chris, Mouse, and Derek. They were nobodies, spending their days biking along cracked back roads, flicking baseball cards into their spokes, and hanging out at the abandoned rail yard. But that summer was different. It all started when Mouse found the map. Mouse's real name was David McGillicuddy. He was small, fast, and had buck teeth like a cartoon. He discovered the map buried in a pile of old comics in his grandfather's attic. The yellowed, wrinkled paper bore the words, "Do not enter." WC scrawled across the top. "WC?" Derek asked, picking his teeth with a paperclip. "Warren Caves," Mouse replied, as if it were obvious. "You guys don't know about caves?" Of course they did. Everyone in town had heard of the caves, remnants of a mining operation from the 1800s. A kid named Matthew Shelby had vanished there in '62. His body never recovered. Chris smirked. "You're saying we should go into the caves. Real smart, Mouse. You want to end up on a milk carton?" Mouse held the map like a golden ticket. "What if we found something down there? Old treasure? Bones? A gun, maybe?" That piqued everyone's interest. They made a pact that night, under the fluorescent hum of Chris's basement lights. The next day, they would ride to the caves, bringing snacks, flashlights, and one of Derek's dad's knives. None of them would come back the same. They set out early, riding past cornfields and into the dense woods, where the sun barely reached through the thick canopy. Derek led on his rusted Schwinn, whistling the theme from the A-Team. The others followed, laughing, shouting, and sweating. The caves were about 5 miles out, past Miller's Creek and the ruins of a burned-down church littered with beer cans and cigarette butts. Mouse's map pointed them toward Devil's Backbone, a twisted ridge of stone that resembled a spine. They found the entrance just before noon. It was a jagged hole behind a veil of moss. The air around it smelled like wet earth and something older. They parked their bikes, checked their gear, and stepped inside. The cave was cool and damp. Their flashlights cut sharp lines through the darkness. For a while, it was all echoes and dripping water, until they reached the first fork. Chris voted left, Derek right. Mouse studied the map. "Straight," he said. So they went straight. 10 minutes later, they found a child's sneaker. Its rubber, toe caked in dried mud. A few feet beyond, Mouse spotted something shiny, lodged in a crack. It was a rusted, bent sheriff's badge. Derek held it up. This is real?" Chris went pale. "You guys hear that?" he whispered. They all froze. From deep within the tunnel came a faint sound, sobbing. They should have turned back. Every horror story said so. But they didn't. They followed the sound deeper, merging into a vast cavern shaped like a cathedral. The walls bore strange markings, scratches, symbols, maybe letters. Derek's flashlight swept the far corner and stopped. A boy crouched there, half covered in stone, dust, hunched as if it had died crying. His skin stretched tight over the bones. "Guys, that's Matthew Shelby," Mouse whispered. "How do you know?" Chris asked. Mouse pointed to the jacket. A patch on the sleeve read Boy Scout Troop 42, the same troop Mouse's father had once been in. Then the sobbing returned, louder now. When they spun around, nothing. Derek screamed. He dropped his flashlight. Something had grabbed him. They rushed to help. For a moment, Ryan saw it. Something pale and wet slipping into a crack in the wall. It resembled a person, but twisted, wrong, hungry. They dragged Derek back. His arm was bleeding badly, the wound already looking infected. "What the hell was that?" Ryan shouted. Mouse shook his head. "We need to leave." But the tunnel had changed. It wasn't collapsed anymore. It was different. They wandered for hours. Derek worsened, muttering nonsense, his eyes rolling. Chris carried him for most of the way. Mouse clung to the map like it still meant something. That thing stopped them. Occasionally, they heard it, shuffling, breathing, and whispering. Eventually, they reached another chamber. Bones, hundreds of them, stacked like firewood, some ancient, some fresh. Derek began convulsing. His skin turned gray, his eyes black. "He's changing," Ryan said. Chris refused to believe it. "Shut up! We're not leaving him." Mouse whispered, "We might not have a choice." Derek's mouth opened and unleashed a scream not meant for human throats. They ran. Chris stayed behind. "Just for a minute," he said. "Go!" He didn't follow. Ryan and Mouse crawled through a narrow gap, clawing at roots, lungs burning. Behind them, Derek's screams merged with another voice, deeper, hungrier. They burst from the ground under a blood-orange sky. Their bikes were gone. The woods were silent. Mouse collapsed. Ryan just stared, trembling. They walked home in silence. No one believed them. Chris and Derek were declared missing. Police searched the caves. They found nothing. No bodies, no badge, no map, just rock and echo. Mouse moved away that fall. His father had taken a job in Boston. He never replied to Ryan's letters. Ryan stayed. He still dreamed of the caves, of that thing, of Derek's eyes. Chris's body was never found. Sometimes, when Ryan walked past the old rail yard, he swore he heard his name being called. After many years passed by, Ryan, now at 42, had a wife, 2 kids, and a job in insurance. Mouse came back for the first time in 30 years. They met at a diner near Miller's Creek. Mouse looked older, more worn. "You still think about it?" he asked. "Every day," Ryan replied. Mouse produced a copy of the map, a redraw, pencil lines. WC still crawled on top. "I want to go back," he said. Ryan laughed, but Mouse was serious. "They won't believe us unless we show them. We find the chamber, bring something back." Ryan hesitated. He thought of Derek's scream, Chris's last words. He should have said no. They returned the next morning. No bikes, just flashlights, rope, first aid, and Ryan's .38 revolver. The cave entrance seemed smaller now. It took them an hour to find the fork, another to reach the first chamber. No sneaker, no badge, just silence. "Did we imagine it?" Mouse asked. Then they heard the sobbing. They followed it. The chamber was still there, and so was the body. Only now there were 2. The second was fresher, curled beside the first, a torn denim jacket, Troop 42. It was Chris. Ryan fell to his knees. He looks peaceful, Mouse said. Then came a sound, not sobbing, breathing. They turned. Derek stood there, not as they remembered. Taller, paler, eyes black as coal, mouth twisted into a cruel grin. "You came back," he rasped. Mouse raised the gun. His hands shook. Derek tilted his head. "You left me." He moved fast. The gun fired twice. Then darkness. They found Ryan 2 days later, barefoot on Route 6, blood on his shirt, dirt in his mouth. He didn't speak for a week. Mouse was never found. Ryan told the police they had been hiking and got separated. Blamed heat stroke. They believed him. But sometimes at night, he opened the map hidden in his desk, and sometimes he heard sobbing, calling him back. If you enjoyed the video, like and share the video, and subscribe the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.